Hello, friends. It's Jackie Rose, founder of Grieving Moms, Finding Hope. You are watching Hope After the Landslide, and I am here with my adorable friend, Lisa D. Lisa Didden, who we just got to spend some amazing time in Phoenix, Arizona on a retreat, which we'll talk about. But first, Lisa, what do you want to acknowledge?
So yeah, today is Veterans Day, November 11th, and um, if any mom is out there watching and their son was a veteran, it was passed, so we acknowledge that and we honor you. Um, a whole bunch of feelings that must come along with that day. It's nice to have a day that we all kind of reflect and pray for you as well. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, just
I
a
mean,
part.
we have 15,000 followers, not always all of them on Facebook Live at one time, but maybe then when they come upon it, know that we
Yeah,
have acknowledged that. So,
yeah, it is a day that I'm
hmm
glad that they have taken the time to
hmm
pause in the middle of life
sure,
and because of the many sacrifices that they made, and so many of them, including my son,
sure.
that came out of the military and struggled with a lot of PTSD in his
Mm,
own form. So yeah, it's no messing around. So if you are here for the first time, welcome. We ask that you would put in the comments your name, where you're from, and the name of your child. We would love that. So
right.
Lisa and I are going to talk. The month of November is Worldwide Bereaved Siblings Month, and
Mm,
we are not equipped to necessarily talk on behalf of siblings, but we do have other children that have experienced the loss of, their
mm,
brother, their sister, and whatever it happens to be. And so we're going to tap into that somewhat. We've got some guests that will be coming on later on this month, so I'm pretty excited. I'll share about that. But Lisa, we cannot go on without talking for a moment
mm,
because I was actually traveling
yeah,
last Tuesday evening.
right.
I wish I would have planned to come home Wednesday because I
Mm,
would have really liked another day anyways in the sunshine
hmm
down there. But nonetheless, we just
right.
came off an amazing Holy Spirit driven women coming together, linking arms, literally, shouting out praises, worshiping together, lamenting, but making
Mm.
friends and community. And it was unbelievable what God did, right?
It was unbelievable. This, might I say, as the
Retreat
retreat
junkie.
groupie or whatever you call me, that I've been to a few, and this was the largest, but yet the spirit and the love and the enrichment and the sincerity is just, it's hard to put into words. But
Yeah.
just look into the other eyes of some moms, knew some that just passed in the past year, um, from all over the country, really. And it was just incredible. Yeah.
To watch them walk in on
Mm.
Thursday evening with just a look of uncertainty
Yeah.
and, of course, sadness and
Mm.
anxiety,
Mhm.
just all of those things. They're
Right.
walking in, many of them not even knowing anybody that is going to
Right.
be there, maybe only from a photo or a conversation or text. And they
Mhm.
walk in, and we made them feel as welcome as we possibly could, escorted them to their rooms. And in this big, amazing home that God provided, I literally was in tears when I was walking around the house.
Mm.
I mean, I guess it could just say it's like a mansion to me.
Yeah, sure is.
And so every woman had, a roomie, but each bedroom had its own bathroom, and the accommodations were just beyond anything we could have ever dreamed of. And there's a
Right.
pool, and so it just was all the amenities
Mhm.
that were there. But what was really standing out, of course, was what the Holy Spirit was doing, and
Right.
just watch, the transitioning and the healing that took place between Thursday night and Sunday mid-morning when everybody was checking out. They were actually sitting by the pool
Mhm.
and didn't even wanna leave. Hello, Linda
There's
Martin, who is
Linda.
there,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I'd never been to Phoenix or in Arizona, and the climate is warm, but it was absolutely, I had texted Jackie before, how's the weather? And she said, perfect. And I was like, well, what does that mean? How do I pack? But it was, it was perfect.
so
It was
me and my
sunny every day.
sarcastic self, like, I'm there at the retreat, and, I've got Stacy and and we're on literally roller skates, whatnot, and so Lisa's asking me, and I'm like, can she just go look on her weather app and just look and see what the weather is?" Right? That was me, but and I could do that to her
For sure.
because
And she sent me a picture of the weather map. Okay, I said that didn't help me. As I sit on my bed with, like, should I bring a sweater for night? Should I put the shorts on for the day? What, how am I packing? And so,
she
but
needs her
anyway,
personal dresser. I don't know, but I wasn't that. But nonetheless, that's what a good friend that she is because
yeah, no,
she
it
can let
worked.
it roll off and let me be silly.
But what
But
was
anyway,
fascinating about the weather too is we would be sitting outside and somebody would have shorts on and a t-shirt and somebody else would have a sweater. So it was that kind of crazy weather, you know.
yeah.
It was just really nice. So
Yeah, I mean, the
yeah.
place even came with misters, but what was
Oh,
really beautiful, and we'll go on with our topic for the month here,
sure.
was that this time around, because it was a large group, we had what we called a campfire moment, and
Mm,
that time took place in the morning with a group leader, and everybody was matched according to the type of loss that their child went through.
right.
This would be helpful if I had my microphone over here, but I think it's because I was going to make my escape to check my bread
I
downstairs.
hear you. I hear you fine, but hopefully
But
everyone else can.
anyway, then in the evening, they also had their campfire time. So
Hmm.
that we're in this big, what I called base camp together and the
Right.
teachings that I did, Maho did, but then they had the time to really get intimate with one another and share their heart. And
Yeah.
I really liked that. And that's what a lot of the feedback came back. They really enjoyed that time.
Yeah, and I could just say, if you're hearing this and you haven't been to retreats, there's no pressure to go ahead and say
Right.
anything. We just kind of ask some questions. We read something from the Bible. We kind of address some topics that are common to us, and you can just take it in and listen. But we did have one mom who said she'd never talked about this with anyone before, and it
Mm,
was a place that she could say something and felt like she was understood.
yeah.
So, and that was not, and so just there's that. So, I mean,
And I don't know how long it had been, but some
right.
women just told it. There's different. We listen to so many topics
Mm,
on grief, which
mm,
to
hmm.
some people sounds very, morbid and mundane and everything. But it
Right.
is pretty fascinating to understand the relation of trauma and grief
Hmm.
when to the body
Yeah.
primarily what happens and why that some people have like it
Whoop.
takes longer for them to address that. It depends on a lot of things. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you out here, my friend,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah. I
can't wait
got
to
worried.
meet.
The first one said help. I'm like, oh. But now, hello, Deb.
Oh,
No,
that would
it's.
be, yeah, that'll scare Lisa, Debbie, don't you?
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? Anyway, but no, yeah, it was that yeah. I mean, there's things that we
There's
talked
no
about.
words, but we
There
did as best as we
really,
could to describe
really,
it.
no, I have to say, it was, and again, you have to witness it and be with it. And I did have some moms say, they are apprehensive. What is a grief? What is a grief retreat? And even now, when I come home, like I go to physical therapy for my back and stuff, and I wasn't there last week or whatever because I was in Phoenix, and I told her, "Oh, is that a grieving mom's retreat?" She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I go, "No, no, no. It's just the opposite." It's funny that people
Right?
say that. Like, what do they think? We're sitting around the bonfire all like bawling our eyes out. I mean, there's a moments when that happens, but it's not
Mhm.
like that. There's
Well,
Don't
truly,
forget, this is grieving by finding hope, and the hope is the key.
and
So,
that's right.
hmm.
And that's right. And to be honest, friends, when I was inside and I was praying with someone in a room that was having a little
Yeah.
difficult time, I
Mm,
was in there for probably 15 minutes. And when I came out to the
mm,
backyard where the pool was, it looked like a college sorority party in the sense that they were doing things like
yeah.
exercise aerobics or synchronized swimming, and they were floating in pool chairs and just the laughter and everything. And you know
Yeah.
what? It's like there's no outside influences. It's just the
Right.
camaraderie that comes together with these women.
It is so true. And, I had read, or someone had said, I was so afraid when I came here that it would be so downtrodden. She goes, it was so good to find the joy and to laugh and just to know that it's okay.
Mhm,
We did have
mhm.
those moments, and yeah.
Oh,
So,
absolutely, but when you see somebody having a moment and a breakthrough,
mm,
we know that that's God just tearing
right,
down the walls and
right.
beginning the healing process that had needed to be there
Well,
for
and I
so long.
think just being able to be heard, by another mom who's and I always say a few steps ahead of us, and just to be heard, like this is what I'm feeling, this is what's going on, and I sat with a few moms and just said, "How you doing today?" And I don't know, now I'm a celebrity, right? I'm on Tuesday Night with Jackie, so they kind of know me a little bit, just a little bit, and it's like, "Oh, you're
Oh my
Lisa." I'm like,
goodness.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah." So it's, how are you? Tell me about your child, and it was just so nice to have that, and and again, some moms have been through our program, have been to other retreats, and others just were brand new, and it was just
Yeah,
to have, and I think that grief, and our grief specifically, when it's witnessed by another grieving mom or witnessed by someone who gets it, and especially now in our smart little campfire groups, that was even more specific,
very much so.
so yeah.
Well, I thank you, Lynn, like saying the best retreat. Yes, and mostly because you were just there too, Lynn. We know that you are. She's one of those that's the life of the party as well. Just admit it and own it, Lynn. You know that you and Lisa together.
We
So
love you,
let's
Lynn.
let's hone back
Hmm.
into the
Sure.
silent sorrow when a
Right.
sibling goes home to heaven. And I have been wanting to ask my two boys, Ryan and Mitchell, to
Mm.
come on Facebook Live and talk. And I just know it's been a while. That's just not their thing. But I do want to share a picture just to kind of bring it in because I am super proud of them. But this is a photo of the three of them
Oh,
in 2006, actually, when
wow.
we all went on a mom's and sons retreat, so to speak, at Zion Ponderosa Ranch. Now,
Wow.
what they did was they cut off their jeans and they used the rest of the material for headbands and all the other things. But they were being so silly, and we had just an amazing time. And of course, there's
Wow.
Randy on the right side with his little brother, of course, that always got picked on. So I thought I'd share that. And then here's Randy with Ryan in the
Mm.
ocean with Randy's two boys, Noah and Jack.
Oh,
Just the things that they did. They loved the ocean. So
sure.
that was a special thing. And of course, these are hard. And the one that is really near and dear to me, let's see if we can get rid of this one and put up this one. Um, well, I don't want that. Here, hold on a second. I want to make it bigger, Lisa. There we go. So this was at the hotel the week that Randy passed away, and brothers being brothers, and that's what that I noticed that I could tell that their relation and that potentially that they were going to be okay was that
Mm.
they were still in the mood to horse around. So this was again that week in
Wow.
Cheyenne, that
Yeah.
Ryan's picking up Mitchell and they're trying to make light of the
Mm.
heaviness that was upon them. And
Well,
I'm
and I
not
also I also
just
think they
thinking,
try to, as best they can, help the parents. Like they're so worried about us.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
so
and
worried
just
about
to
us.
let
So
them
to
know
horse
that.
around and stuff, they're like, okay, we're gonna be okay. They're trying to, give you that signal a
Yeah,
little bit,
because they
a
don't
little
want us
bit.
to worry, and I think
Hmm.
that's, like, in our conversation as I'm pulling
Yeah.
up another picture, is
Hmm.
to say that, from our perspective, Lisa, I think that that's one thing that I could
Right.
say that my boys wanted to do was to let, us know that they were okay and that we didn't have to worry about them,
Right.
even though that they, went through a lot themselves, and I
Hmm.
think for, again, my boys, I believe, really, unintentionally, but I think they stuffed so much of it. I don't know how
Sure.
Jen was, about
Yeah, I
all
mean, I think initially, in the beginning, you're numb to it all, so I wasn't even sure how she felt. But as things unfolded, um, we had tons of pictures, at the funeral, and I had put them up like on a desk. It's like a shrine. And at one point, I guess it was a few months later, she said, "Mom, when are we taking the shrine down?" And I realized, okay, I guess I have to,
that.
take that down and be mom. I still have my daughter, and there's people watching. Maybe that was your only child that passed, so it's, it's a whole nother
Right, and
dimension.
thank
It's a
you
whole
for
nother
reminding me
dimension.
because
Hmm.
there is that, for some of
Hmm.
you that are watching, that might have been your only child, and my heart
Right.
goes out to
Yeah.
you. And, we can't meet everybody on these Facebook Lives where they are, but, we did wanted to draw some attention to the siblings because they did
Yeah.
often get overlooked, as we can share in a bit here in the
Yeah.
resurfacing book. And yet I think as a mom, I remember that, in hearing the news initially
Mm.
when, Randy passed away and Ryan, who's in the picture in the cowboy hat on the right side, was, getting that news. And I literally wanted to just come down on him and just grab him and hold him
Mm.
and just
Mm.
protect his, like, if I could physically just protect his heart
Sure.
from shattering, because I still was a mom and I still,
Yeah.
no matter how old he was, he's still like my baby boy. And then knowing that Mitchell, who's in the picture on the
Mm.
left, which is another silly picture, that we went out shopping for clothes in Cheyenne, and it's all Western, and they don't wear cowboy
Mm.
hats, but they decided to put on a cowboy hat to
Wow.
be silly. And yeah, I told him, I said, "You guys look like you could be in a Western movie, honestly."
Yeah. The looks on their faces.
I
Yeah.
mean, well, they're doing that on purpose. They're trying to
No,
be
I
like,
get it. They're
from the
mocking it
movie,
up.
some,
Sure.
yeah. But anyway, I just know that,
Hmm.
it's, you wanna protect them, and not even just from the standpoint of their heart shattering, but also because you don't wanna lose another
Well,
child,
and I
like,
was going to say that's one of our greatest fears, right? I mean, you lost, and people that have lost multiple, and my heart, goes out to. I see Carol's on here. God bless you, Carol, and lose multiples, but. I've had to let that go because even with just having my daughter, just getting in the car and driving, and oh, where is she? I had to let it go because I'll drive myself crazy. And I had said to Jackie before we started, I said, fear doesn't stop death, but it can
right.
stop life. And you know what? Kids at various ages have to take risks. My daughter, she loves travel, she loves hiking and mountain, all the things, right, Jackie?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I can't stop her from living. I just have to trust in
Yeah.
God that when her time is her time, that took the burden off of me. She's going to
Right.
make hopefully good decisions. I can try to help her make, guide her a little, but
Yeah.
I can't lead her into, she's going to do what she's going to do. Now, that being said, there are kids that take more risky behaviors, but
Yeah,
that's
like
part of
Ryan.
being young. Yeah, that's part of being young, right? Didn't
Yeah.
we all kind of take, and so
I
does
don't
every
know,
child who
backward
take,
somersaults off of mountains, like, and
ugh,
cliffs is not like the normal,
eh,
but that's what I have
no,
to do.
no, I know. My daughter was mountain climbing or doing something with a friend. She sent me a picture. She's standing on a log between two. I said, "Don't send me any more pictures." You know, as, as a mom, you could joke about that,
Oh.
but I have to
Oh my
let it
gosh,
go. And
yeah,
so,
Sherry's on here. Sherry Skates is on here
oh,
from the
nice,
retreat
great
also.
seeing you, Sherry.
I knew, what, and really quick too, is
Yeah.
that we were wondering, like, if we were gonna be able to be qualified to talk about siblings in here, and we can't
Mm,
shut up. But the new friends that we have made, Sherry, you being one of them, like, what an amazing woman. And I know that she
mm,
had,
mm-hmm.
maybe just to be polite, but said that she would come on Facebook Live because she's got a remarkable story, and what a
Yeah.
sense of courage that she has.
Yeah.
And you know what, Lisa? Do you know what I have to go do really quick?
Go ahead, check your bread.
So do you think you could figure out something to talk for just one
She
minute?
told me to tap dance, but here we are.
Oh,
I got it. I got it.
be
I
right
got it.
back.
Go for it. Only Jackie's baking bread while we're in the middle of this. But anyway, yes. We all pray for, Linda Martin wrote, we pray for our other children for sure. And of course, we guide them. And the one thing, I have to let that fear go because that'll be like a spindrift emotion, worrying and worrying and worrying and worry. I just read also something like 96% of things you worry about never come true or things you fear. So, gotta let it go. Give it to God. And the other thing we were going to talk about, and I always mention that I don't always mention, but that I went through the training for David Kessler's grief certification. It's a grief educator certification, and one of the things he taught us and he mentioned, which he's if you don't know David Kessler, he's written many books. One of the things is kids and siblings grieve differently that they and I know this to be true with my daughter, Jen, which we're going to have her interview. I'm going to interview her and we're going to try to get her on here at some point. But the one thing that they do is well, we'll get back to the bread. They grieve differently, kids, than we do. And I think, and everyone grieves differently, right? Your grief is as individual as your fingerprint, but there are some commonalities. And one of those is, they feel alone. And I sense that with my daughter because, and I remember this, and I was going to say this to Jackie, that when my parents split up, I was in a Catholic high school. I knew no one that's parents split up. It was like, so I didn't tell anybody. They split up in like August. I didn't say a word till January. We're talking like 5, 6 months
Mm,
later. Not a
mhm,
word. And my life was upside down and it was rough. But
mm,
no one would understand because no one was in that circumstance. So one of the things, and I was saying, is that they feel alone. Like, who are they going to talk to? And the other thing I wanted to say was,
yes.
there was a grief group that I was invited to. A local mom it was kind enough, and she had moms get together, and she had the kids come, all the siblings, the moms that had lost a child, and they had the siblings. She went to go in another room and do a craft. And
Mm,
the one complaint was they don't talk to me about their grief. They don't
yes.
say anything. They don't want to upset you. That's the big thing. They don't
That
want to
is.
upset you. And so then my daughter came and the kids were all like, I'll say like 13, 12, right? Like teenagers mostly. And Jen comes in, she's like 25, 26 or whatever. And then all of a sudden, she's with these kids. They start talking and they were thrilled. I mean, they're in another room and everything, but
Oh,
when we left, they said, Jen, can you please come back? So she did that for a while. I don't know how many months, maybe a year. She would go every couple weeks, whatever. And the kids loved it because here we are. This
right.
one gets it. She's older. She's a school psychologist, so she kind of has a feel for the whole thing. But and here they were, and she was they were able to talk to her, not by any expertise, just by being someone who went through it. So
Yeah.
and so that's another thing. So to find support for, if you have grieving siblings, I know Compassionate Friends is supposed to have that, and online there's other groups. But I just wanted to mention that as well. They do feel
No,
alone.
as you should, because I
Mhm.
think that, we talked about having, more of a regular moment for, the siblings to
Yeah,
have, or just to dedicate, one of our Facebook lives to do for
yeah.
their, and that's the same thing. They don't want to talk about it. And truly, my boys, they'll talk about it, but it's not like they want to make it public. They're
Right.
very private with that. So I think that, and I was looking in here at our resurfacing book under the
Hmm.
common needs of
Sure.
siblings, and this could vary with different ages. They
Yep.
need to know that they're safe and that things will be okay.
Right.
They want to have physical affection as a hug or it can go a long way, allowing them to feel safe. And it doesn't matter. Like I gave my boys so many hugs, during that time, and they were older.
Mm-hmm.
Validate what they're thinking and encourage them to share their feelings, as we've been
Can I
saying.
just stop you there right there?
Yeah.
Because I think that that's one of the things that I didn't do initially. And I think a lot of parents, because you're just so overwhelmed with grief, but to, to say to them, I'm really sad, of course, but how are you doing? You know what I mean? To really kind of hold space for them and say, how are you doing in this? Not about
Hmm.
me, like what is going on with you? I don't
Right.
know. And I didn't do that for a
No.
while, but and in fact, when you were going to talk about this topic I asked her, I said, have we talked, Mom? We talked, we talked about it enough. And you always ask me if I need, I can come to you. So, okay, I'm glad you feel that way, but I had to check, like, am I ignoring her? So it's okay to
Well, but it never would
check
have been
in with them.
intentional.
What's
Yeah,
that?
it would never would have been intentional, Lisa,
No,
anyway,
no,
for
no.
any of us to say
That's what I'm
that
saying.
way.
I'm just like, oh my gosh. It came to me like, have I been ignoring this? And if you're watching this, what have you, you do want to encourage them. So, and to say,
Well, I have to
see,
say too that
I can hold their sadness too, or not to hold it, but that they can have their sadness.
yeah, well, I mean, you're trying to balance everything, you're
Yeah.
trying to balance you, and then you got all the other outside things that are happening, people
Right.
bringing meals, and then so with our situation, because the boys in Marseille moved back into our home,
Mm.
at this then even diluted my love and affection for everybody. And when I say that, it wasn't that they didn't get it, it's just that I had to spread it out even more. And the
Right.
boys, their outcries and their needs were so much more because of the trauma that they
Mm-hmm.
had experienced. And so when Ryan moved back in with us, Mitchell had to go back and Kristen to Oregon because he works for Nike. And so, I was really concerned, like, is he going to be okay? And I
Mm,
remember him in junior high school, when he was going through stuff, he didn't want to talk until I finally literally pinned him down and in a
mm,
joking way. And I'm like, I'm not letting you up until you tell me what's going on, and then
right.
finally
Right.
the tears came. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in my home, everybody had talk about variances of grief, like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
my husband, like my boys, my grandkids, my daughter-in-law,
Mm,
everybody that was in and out of that home, you know, uh, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, my own brother, my sister, my dad, everybody had their own thing. And then we as moms think, well, I got to make sure everybody's okay
mm,
when
mm,
this is like, I mean, I don't like to say it, but I feel
mm-hmm.
like moms are going to take it the hardest. You
Yeah.
know, they're definitely going to take it the hardest.
Well, definitely, and and that's to be said. Like I didn't realize even like cousins. I have my son's cousins. The boys especially took it very hard. My two nephews. And interesting, both of them tattooed something from Chris, and they, and like Marseille. I mean, the wives. I mean, there's all the different, not just siblings, but all the different family relationships that we have, and that's part of
Mm.
our book, family dynamics, if you've been through it. So we're
Yeah.
referring to that on page 57. But, so that's it, the
And it
extended,
does say that you don't have to shield them from the
mm,
grief.
right.
And that's what we tend to do. And but just continue to be open and honest in communication.
Well, and I think it's okay to let them see you cry. I mean, you're going to modeling like it's okay. I'm going to cry. I'm going to get over it. I'm not going to cry forever.
Right.
It's okay. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because I remember even saying to my daughter, just, and she'll probably tell you this, during that time, she was just accepted to grad school and was going to start college. And Chris died in July, in fact, and then she had to start grad school in September, and she didn't want to do it. She's like, I can't do it. And I
Mm,
said, just go one day. She did one
mm,
day. Go another day. And so I was encouraging her to keep going. And again, she didn't tell anybody, nobody. And,
mm.
she said, these kids are complaining about their, my nails came out wrong or this and that. And my
Oh
boyfriend,
gosh.
this and that. She said, I wanted to stand on the top of a desk and scream, my brother died. But I didn't say anything. So,
Mm,
so that's kind of like, again, they don't talk about it. So, and that's okay because she wasn't ready. And again, feeling
right.
alone, who's going to understand? It's kind of that whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true.
Hmm.
I'm on this other screen because there's something I'm going to end up pulling up here.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so
interesting too. Well, I wanted to, oh, go ahead.
no,
I
no,
just
go
wanted to
ahead.
say too, I think kids, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, and I've seen this with my daughter. Like we, as a mom, we grieve the past. Oh, I lost my hair. We grieve the past.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Grieve the
oh my
past, and then we
goodness.
grieve the future they would have had. So there's like, and I didn't really, when milestones occur, it affects you. Like you go to a wedding, you think, oh, for me, my son will never get married, or you see your friends, their friends babies being with them, and I see all that. But my daughter is, and I think, and then this is also something that's been studied, they they grieve it kind of when it happens. So when they're at a
Mm,
wedding, they're there and they go, oh, it dawns on them, like, oh my gosh, Chris
right.
is never going to get married, or we're never going to do this. And I've seen that, like
Yeah.
what those milestones hit differently with the
Uh-huh.
siblings, like, so there's that. But,
Well, and
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 it's
yeah,
okay.
because they don't know. Well, and the thing what I remember somebody saying is that our siblings, like even if
Hmm.
you looked at yours and mine,
Mm. Hmm.
they're the only thing that we're
Right.
attached to the past.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like when mom and dad pass away,
Hmm.
then they have one another to talk to
Right.
and reminisce about that. And I
Yeah.
I value that with my sister,
Yeah.
So
No, and I value that as well. I mean, I would like to be a little closer, but we're close enough that we get together on holidays. But I don't, now I think that my daughter doesn't have that. My mother always said, I'm glad you have more kids because anyway. But yeah, I mean, she'll have her own family one day. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
God knows the circumstances of all of
Mhm.
our kids,
Mhm. Mhm.
even for you moms that,
Mhm.
that was your only child, and
Right.
again, God bless you on that one. And I know we talk about Carol, 5 boys, and she
Mm.
lost 3 of those 5 boys, and those 2 boys, imagine, they have quite a bit to reminisce about, their other siblings, and but
Mhm.
every one of them, it's just good to, no matter how old they are, to tap in and just say, "Hey, I was just thinking
Yeah.
about you today, how are you doing?" Like, especially on the anniversaries, on the birthdays, Christmas is coming up, all of the things that, we can't seem to get away from
Right.
that are gonna continue to bring them up, and every year seems to be something different
Yeah.
that will come up.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I think to have that open space, that open mind to allow them to come in, even
Yeah,
if you're just like, even if it's for a minute, just how are you doing with this? And I think also too, if there's any young moms, little kids don't need to know so much. They're so pragmatic and so present focused.
yeah,
You give them a
it's
little
so
at a
true.
time, and I know, like, and that's true probably for grandchildren and different things, that if their father died or their mother died or what have you, and you're the grandmom, and now that's a whole nother dimension.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. I mean,
you
grief
know
is
that.
many, many
How
layers.
many
Oh,
grandchildren do you have? 9?
9. I have
Look at
9
her.
grandchildren.
Look at
I
her.
know. So, I
I'm
mean,
pointing
my
like
kids just jumped right in. They
9.
just they just jumped right in. So
That's crazy. Yeah,
on
they
the
do.
and you're so sweet to
Go
say
ahead.
that. And I love, and I'm a young grandma to the well, I feel young, to where it's like when I see my grandkids, I'll just be rolling down the hill
Mhm.
doing, roly polies with them.
Yeah.
But in fact, I'm going down to Southern California to see 6 of the 9 that are down there to visit, so I cannot wait.
Oh, I
Um,
bet. Sure.
on the more serious side of,
Yeah.
siblings, uh, you know, there's I'm just gonna read what it says here.
Yeah.
Uh, Avoid some of the common responses to death, such as "God
Mhm.
took your brother or sister to heaven because they were his special angel." These are the
Mm-mm.
little kids.
Mhm.
Comments like this may instill fear that God is going to take them next. Another
Mhm.
common response from others your child may encounter is "just be strong for your mom and dad." That's
Mhm.
huge.
Mhm.
That is a huge one.
Mhm.
Have an open, honest conversation about how they don't have to be strong for you, and that by grieving, they are being strong.
Right.
And then, if they are older children, suicidal thoughts may prevail in their minds, thinking that they can see their siblings again sooner
Mhm.
rather than later. Prayer is the best antidote to these types of thoughts. Continue in prayer over your child and have open and honest dialogue about it as well. Let them know it's okay to have joy again in their life, and that it is not disloyal to their siblings' memory to be happy again. And we have to tell ourselves, that as well so many times. And
Well, for
it's
sure, and I wanna mention too, I mean, we're not, and we always say, we're not psychologists, we're not professionals here, but if a child seriously is having suicidal ideation, you do wanna get them help as well. I mean, that's, yeah. So.
and just something about that too is, that word comes up, especially when we were
Mm.
talking about, suicide in different um, platforms and even in our retreat.
Yeah.
Whereas I tell people that, it is definitely mental illness for some of it. Some of it is just a temporary
Mm.
moment where the sadness then becomes something they become afraid of, that it is depression, and then they just spiral down because the enemy just keeps sucking them into that vortex of sorts, and just keeps they keep buying the lie, buying the lie. But here's the thing, like,
Mm.
get help for those, even moms that are watching it,
Mhm.
because here's one important thing that you must
Yeah.
know, and I may have mentioned, is that, we are all here. We all have a
Mm.
mission. We all have a job to do that is part of our journey toward to eternity. And so, by you deciding that you can't handle the pain anymore, you make the decision not to get help. Again, mental illness is strong. Sometimes you don't even know that you're that bad, but to talk and reach out, because
Mhm.
your individual story, your individual journey, or your love or conversations that God is going to align with someone in your future could be their very ticket to salvation.
Mm.
And that is really a very deep rooted
Mhm.
subject.
Yeah.
Because think about, some are like, well, I am so depressed and I am so sad and I just can't go on any long. Well,
Mm.
those are powerful words
Mhm.
that you're saying and you're speaking, but
Right.
you have to change, the parts of your brain. In fact, I learned today, which I won't go into what those parts are. We'll do that on another show. But is
Mhm.
when you're in the brain, it's like when you get sad, your brain
Mm.
has the opportunity to go and turn it back to being joyful, but some
Mm.
people have a slower process for that to happen. And so the antidote to that is
Hmm.
that you're supposed to think about, like, for instance, with say if this is sibling is missing their sibling, or if it's mom or dad,
Mhm.
you're missing all the things about them, the love that you have that you can't give anymore. You have to take those thoughts and you have to say, like, if I were to think about Randy's death, which I do a
Mm.
lot, and I think,
Mhm.
and I'm sad and I miss him and I would do anything to have him back.
Of
But
course.
Randy's death and Randy's gain an entrance into heaven, that he suffers no more, gives him relief, me relief, knowing he doesn't have to suffer anymore. But also, it changed the direction and the course of my purpose in my life.
Wow. Yeah. For
Because
sure.
without that,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be involved in grieving moms. I would have
Mhm.
continued down another path, which obviously that wouldn't have been God's plan. But nonetheless, it's like that moment that Randy took his last breath, he closed his eyes. That was the moment that God was like, okay, I know his mom is going to say
Mm.
yes and amen after a while, not immediately, because my daughter has to cry, she has to lament, she has to weep, she has to wail. And I do have those moments. What I
Mhm.
do know is that even like the retreat last couple weekends ago, was
Mhm.
that what I saw there was so incredibly a big testimony is to that I'm where I need to be. Lisa,
Absolutely.
you're where you need to be. So many of us are where we need to be. And for that, I am grateful and I'm humbled, and I will continue to do that work because I know I'm going to see the Lord and I'm going to see Randy, and it's going
Well,
to be a
well,
joyful
I
time.
know, and I know I speak for many moms, and I thank God that you did because it's how we found hope. How I found hope, broken open to God more, and it showed me that I'm not alone. And here's a mom out there living her life after her landslide, and we all have a landslide, no matter how your child died. That has been such an inspiration, and I know I speak for so many moms. Thank you, Jackie.
Well, thank you. And you go right back at you, Lisa, and all the
Mm,
other leaders and the women, because
mm,
your individual spiritual gifts and love that you can only give to certain people. There's
mm.
people that I can only give my kind of love to. It's just the community. It's just the
Well,
body of Christ.
can I speak to that for 1 minute?
Yeah.
There was a mom there. I won't say her name or anything at the retreat, and she was reluctant to participate in something. She didn't want to get up and talk or whatever. And I went over and said, "It's okay," and she's like, "Okay," and then I 10 minutes later just glanced over and kind of gave her a smile. And lo and behold, she jumped up and did the thing. And I thought, and later on, I said to her, "Wow, you didn't have to. I told you if you didn't really want, she was feeling anxious about talking in front of people." And she goes, "No." She goes, "When you turned and looked and smiled at me, I knew that I was around people who get it." And I thought,
Uh,
oh, just a little
see?
smile,
Yeah.
and just being in the presence, and
Yeah.
just she knew in that moment, like she was supported. And that's what this ministry does. I think grief is you're never. I don't think you're going to find closure and all the answers. You go to you find you find connection and you find support. I mean, the pain is going to be there, but it softens. And like you said, when you find purpose, if I can help one mom with a smile,
Mhm.
it's huge.
Well, and Lisa,
And it's
and
honoring our
you're
sons as well. I'm sorry, that's the other
no,
thing.
no, you're fine. You're in between your birth and when God's going to take
Mm,
you home, your dash.
yeah,
Even that one moment of your smile to her was a part of your journey to eternity. In
wow,
fact, I want to say that suffering stops when you find purpose.
wow. Hmm,
Suffering
that's
stops when you find purpose.
that's interesting. Yes, it's very good. And
I mean, Just drop the mic right there because
Yeah.
that's truly what
Well,
happens.
I know you said this early on in my journey when did a Zoom or what have you in the group that you're still here for a reason. You know, if you're still breathing, you have there is a, maybe you don't know it yet, you know, what that is.
Right.
It may come right away, may come 5, 10 years away, but it, you know, and to find that you're still here for a reason.
I
And
mean,
what I
really,
want to say is that that ripple effect of that, it's
right.
amazing what you think might not have an effect does, you know.
And you merely just have to say to God, just say, "Here I am, Lord, send me."
Send me. What do I have to do?
And you just pray that. And when he hears you say that, he knows. He knows that, okay, my daughter's healed. She wants to
Mm,
turn her pain into purpose,
mm,
and that's when the suffering will end.
right,
And when I
right.
say suffering, that's a big word.
Mm,
Suffering is really to where it's like it's so incredibly painful. There's sadness and there's suffering.
right, right.
Suffering is almost debilitating.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Hi, Vicky and Christy, and I see Linda. You're talking to Debbie. Looks like, and hi,
Hmm.
Rosemary, and of course I said hi to all everybody else. Here, Eileen. I'm sorry, we've been going on a tangent. Okay, what I want to show you because we said we're first of all, I'm going to show you this. So this is a I've been showing photos. This was a very
Mm,
raw moment in our hotel room that week in
mm.
Cheyenne that my family was together, and what we're doing is we're holding up Randy's dog tag right there, and
Oh,
you can't see
wow.
really that close, but if you look in everybody's face, everybody was
Mm,
just exhausted
mm,
emotionally.
mm,
I mean, it was I mean, that picture just speaks a million, not 1,000, a million words right there
mm,
as
mm,
to,
mm.
like, we had no idea what the journey was gonna be like ahead, so
Right.
other 5 became 4 in that, in just 1 week.
Yeah.
It all just changed for us.
Wow.
And then I think that what I wanna share, which I'm pretty excited about, is
Mm-hmm,
our
mm-hmm.
dear friend Carrie that has been making the necklaces, and if you don't know about those necklaces, the grieving mom necklaces that you can have your child's name placed on the back, it's like it's a dog tag style, speaking of dog tags, because we are pretty
Mm-hmm.
much in a battle of getting towards healing. But so her husband is coming on next week. Eric Close, you might know him. I was gonna show a picture, see if this
Mm,
works. Um, and I think it's on. Yeah, it's on this one. He is okay. We don't want the ad. Oh,
he's a
jeez.
TV star. I was telling Jen, I said, Jackie has a TV star. She says, you want me to go on Facebook Live with a TV star?
Ah,
I said, yeah,
hang
whatever.
on a second.
No,
You
he's going to
know,
be on next week. And his wife, I'll just fill in as you, makes these dog tags that have a heart, the symbol for our grieving mom. Jackie's wearing it. I didn't wear mine tonight. And then on the back, it has your child's name and the heaven date on there. So it's
yeah.
pretty
Keep
cool.
talking because I'm trying to pull it.
No, keep talking.
Keep talking.
Keep talking among yourselves. It's Saturday Night Live. You know, it's
Yeah,
funny.
see.
Um, what was I going to say? Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
Did you
So
lose your
Eric,
place?
Eric Close. No, I didn't mute
There he
him.
is.
Okay, good looking guy.
There's so here's
What was he
here's
on? He was
Eric.
on.
He
Yeah,
was
he's
on
on
Nashville. He did a series, but
Nashville.
what I want to say is that he does the Hallmark movies, and they're so beautiful and innocent.
Mm,
And so I was hoping that I could get him to do a little video. And Carrie's like, "Oh, we're not gonna be able to do it." And so she gave me she gave me an Instagram
mm-hmm.
advertisement for his movie, which is All Is Merry and Bright,
Oh.
which will be it's a comedy type thing, but it's very innocent. And anyways, he'll be talking about it. But he's a man of God. He's wonderful. And then I just always laugh because it's like he's married to Carrie, and
Mhm.
Carrie is just like she's so me, and we just have so much fun. And Eric probably just rolls his eyes all the time every time he knows that we're doing Marco Polos together and stuff. But he'll be on next week because he lost his brother Christopher some years
Mm,
ago, and then Carrie's going to come on at the end. So
Okay.
looking forward to
Wow,
having him share
that's great. So we will
and the
actually have
sibling.
a grieving sibling, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That's
and then I
I
think
didn't know
there's
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
So
good.
if you have, been a part of grieving moms and you
Mhm,
know that one of your I know I don't know, Linda, if one of your girls want to, or not to put you guys
mhm.
on the spot. I mean, if someone wants to have their sibling, their child come on that was a sibling to
Either
the one.
yeah, either come on or I'm going to be interviewing. See, because here at 9, it's 9:45 now. My daughter's in bed by 9. She's got to be up at 5:30. So she was going to be on live, but she'll be half asleep. So I will be most likely interviewing her and taping it, and we'll pop it on at some point. So
Yeah.
we can also do that. And I taped some of the moms were gracious enough to talk to me a little bit. So
Well,
yeah.
and here's the example. It's not, again, what we're saying is that there's not a lot of siblings that want to come on and they want to
Mhm.
share. And,
Right.
we respect that, and that's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
But if there is any of those that would like to share their experience and their love and how God has carried them through, please let
Yeah.
us know. But
Yeah.
it's grievingmoms.com for all of our resources. If you are new to here, again, this is our month, you guys. I have
Mhm.
to do a big shout out because we have
Oh,
a
that's right.
private donor that for the whole month of November, any donations that come
Uh,
in will be matched. So this is the gift giving time of year, and Grieving Moms is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, so you get a tax deductible donation. And I don't know what we're up to right now. I apologize for not, but the goal is for us to get up to 20,000, and then that will be matched and make it 40,000. And
Listen,
what we
that's what we
outreach,
need for the year. What we can do with that subsidized the retreat was
absolutely
definitely more than what moms paid, so to afford that. And it wasn't that it was so luxurious. I mean, we said this great, but it was a place that we could accommodate everyone
right.
comfortably. And
Donations came in so we could be able to afford it.
so
But
we were able to afford it, and we had sponsors and such. But please take this offer. It's one thing, we're not. I'm not a salesperson. I always say to my husband, he's in sales.
I love
I
it.
don't have that neuron. I really don't. I'm not a business person.
You and
I
me both. We
oh
just like to speak from the heart,
mm,
right?
I used
So
to run the
it's
I
very
used to
cool.
run the like the snack bar at my kids like basketball, baseball things, and I'd see somebody go, "Here, you want a hot dog?" I'm the worst. But
I
in
know.
this ministry, we have to ask for it. We're donation based, so please,
Yeah,
if everyone listening if we have 15,000 followers, we said if everybody just donated $1 or $5, I mean, just whatever
right.
that is, I mean, it'd be great. So yeah,
Well, in our bad, Lisa, too, as I said before, it's like, we don't we're not salespeople get a bad rap, right? And so
yeah,
truthfully, it's not even being salesy. What it is, it's like my bad for not talking
mhm,
about it
mhm,
because
yeah.
if I don't talk about it, then we don't exist.
Right, we
Bottom line.
have to address it,
We
and
have to address it. It's
we're
something
being
that just has
honest,
to be done.
and it's interesting too because I mean I'm old, 65, so I'm like, oh, it's on Facebook, it's free, everything's free. No, I didn't realize. So now I'm on the board, and we sit down. And we're like, oh no, this right now, be live. There's different things that come with
Exactly.
all the
Right.
different working pieces. And now we did have to hire someone on the side part time with Stacy, who's been a blessing. But
Mhm.
again, we need that support to continue.
And I'll
And
be really, really sad and bored if I don't get to continue to do this because
we're
it
gonna,
is my
yeah,
heart's desire to continue to come on
yeah,
here. So my
absolutely.
bread is downstairs. I'm
Yeah,
smelling it
yeah,
really
we're gonna get
strong.
going. So
So,
I just want to acknowledge Jen Forsman. She was the young mom at the
oh,
retreat.
Jen,
Hi,
yes. Hi,
Jen.
Jen.
So
Thank you
good
for
to
being
see you.
here.
Um,
Yeah. What a
she's a
blessing that you were to meet you and
sweetheart.
get to
Yeah.
talk.
So
So everybody that's here, again, stay tuned for more,
yeah.
stuff we're going to talk about siblings and Lissy. I know you want me to hold you. She was at the vet today, and now she's like wanting her little love. But next week, again, Eric Close will be on. He used to be on Nashville. He's a Hallmark Christmas movie, but he lost a sibling, so he's going to be talking with us
Mhm,
next week. I think you're going to love that. But
mhm,
in the meantime, you guys, you're going to be okay. And I just
mhm.
love and appreciate you for being here. And again, help us with our November challenge, okay? We want to
Sounds good.
double the
Yeah,
love. All right.
absolutely. We're love.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everyone. Take care.